welcome to episode number 60 of the Active Geek podcast. In this episode, we are focusing on two of 2017's upcoming television series that involve comic books. The first one is on NBC, and it premieres on February 1st, and it's Powerless, starring Vanessa Hudgens, Alan Tudyk, Danny Pudi, and Ron Funches. Now, this takes place in the DC universe, and is focused on ensuring the safety of the non-superpowered humans within the world of DC. The second series that we're focusing on comes out on February 8th, and that's Legion, and that's a Marvel/Fox show, and it takes place in the X-Men universe, but you won't see any familiar faces like Patrick Stewart, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, Ian McKellen, anybody like that, until Legion earns its way to be included in the X-Men universe. In this episode, we focus on both shows, the good, the bad, and what we think is going to happen in the future of the shows. One of which we're really excited for, the other we're kind of like, we don't know. We'll see it on the DVR and see what we think of it. So without any further ado, this is episode number 60 of the Active Geek podcast entitled Powerless and Legion. Chuck, would you agree that this year, 2017, is a good year to be a geek?
Oh, of course. Every year is a good year to be a geek, but with all the content coming out, it's going to be
a great year.
An exceptional
year. Yeah, it's great. I went over it. So, for our likings, there's approximately 30 movies that can be considered a geek movie coming out in 2017.
That's awesome.
Then, when you factor in TV shows, you have Defenders, The Punisher, Iron Fist. You have all your shows returning from winter breaks. You have Game of Thrones coming back, and then you have a show called American Gods. Have you seen the trailer for that?
No.
It's coming out on Starz. Neil Gaiman. It's his adaptation of the American Gods story. Looks amazing. It looks really good. I'm very excited for that. And then there's also two other TV shows that are coming out, and those two TV shows we're going to talk about today because they're coming out very close. So the first one is going to premiere on NBC. It's a comedy. Comes out February 1st, 2017. It's going to come on after Superstore. And it's from a guy named Ben Queen. He's the writer of Cars 2. So, Disney trusted him. I hate Cars 2, so
yeah,
I don't know
how was better.
I don't know how I hate the Cars franchise.
Oh.
So, we'll see how this goes. And the show I'm talking about is called Powerless. It's been announced in San Diego Comic-Con. It's got a great cast. So, when you think about the concept of Powerless, and for those who don't know about it, the concept is it's different from when it was first announced.
Yeah.
All right, so when it was first announced, it was a show that was based on an insurance company for superhero deaths. So casualties caused in the fights between superheroes and supervillains. So they would do the life insurance claims. Now they work for a subsidy of Wayne Tech, and they create items and gadgets and all this fun stuff to counteract the damage of superheroes, to protect the lives, not to insure the lives. I guess insure and protect are the same, right? What do you think of that concept?
Well, it's labeled as a comedy.
Yes.
And with the first concept with life insurance and death, it's a little dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is suited for the content they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how I take on this.
Yeah.
Because
it's different.
It's different. I mean, the concept I like, but I don't know how well it's going to do.
Yeah, and you have to think about it. This is DC's first attempt on a comedy.
And they've before said...
No jokes. This is the No Joke Squad.
Yeah.
And that goes in their movies, I guess, because, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends, they have comedic parts in it.
Yeah.
With Cisco and Felicity. And
but this is a straight-out comedy. This isn't a...
No, yeah, this does not take place in the Arrow multiverse.
It reminds me of, like, The
Office
yeah. with superheroes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going for. If you think about it, it's completely separated from, like I said, the Arrow universe. It's separated from the DC Entertainment universe. However, it's got the full spectrum of all. So it can use all the superheroes that they want.
I don't think we're going to see Superman and Batman and
No.
Wonder Woman. However, we will see certain heroes and certain characters, and there's going to be a lot of references. There was a viral kind of, I guess not viral. It was more of like an image that leaked out, right? And it was Joker gas.
I just seen that.
So, they can use a lot, and there's been some footage with some unlikely characters that I wasn't expecting to ever see on a television show, and we'll get to those as well. My thought of the concept is either way they can make it funny. I was signed on to wanting to watch this when I heard about San Diego Comic-Con. Because I was like, oh, you know what, it's a good take on it, and then they announced that Alan Tudyk was in it, and I really like him, and Ron Funches, he's in it, and I was like, let's give it a try. And I like The Office, and Parks and Recs, and Superstore, I like those a lot. But when it came down to, like, the life insurance thing, I was like, that could be really cool, because I'd like to see some reenactments of how they died. You know what I mean? Not like, oh, there was a house fire and he died. Like, I could imagine, like, them walking and Superman catching them with, like, a laser beam and they die.
Yeah.
Or, like, Batman throws a batarang and it gets ricocheted and
But then that makes
gets
it
him
a
in the
little
spine. It's a dark comedy. And that's not what they're going for. The new concept I really like, too, especially now that it takes place in the Wayne universe, and that you do have, like, I didn't know how they were going to play the villain out. You know what I mean? And now you really have a villain with Alan Tudyk's character. So I'm on board for it. If it's shit, it's shit. But their lineup before that with The Office and Parks and Rec and Community and Superstore, they put out really good comedies. So I'm going to give it a chance.
I'll give it a chance, just for the sake of the content itself.
Yeah. Now it's on Tuesday. I don't know if it's Tuesday. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday night showing, right? So that's our Arrow night. I don't know if there's anything else that comes on Wednesdays anymore. But it comes on around Arrow's time, probably around 8 or 9. Probably at 9 o'clock. So you watch Arrow, then you watch Powerless. This is going straight to DVR, right?
Oh.
This is not a live watch.
Well, nothing.
You work nights now, so...
Yeah, nothing's a live watch.
It's definitely not a live watch. But if you were working days, not a live watch. Okay.
No.
Probably not a live. Well, I don't get home until like after 9 anyway, so not a live watch for me either. I made reference to two members, Alan Tudyk and Ron Funches. What do you think about the rest of the cast? Danny Putty and Vanessa Hudgens.
Well, I love Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
I love him in everything he does. From Firefly to Rogue One to iRobot. And he does a lot of Disney.
Oh, yeah, he's Disney's go-to voice actor.
Yeah. So, I always loved him. Not sure how, like, the Bruce Wayne cousin character is going to hold up.
Van Wayne.
Sounds
like his parents were like, you know what, I'm a big Van Morrison fan. I'm going to name him Van Wayne.
Van is just...
Do you think his real name is Vance?
Yeah.
Vance Wayne? Ugh.
So,
sounds like they got the name wrong, like Wayne Vance or something like that. They just got it backwards.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. Vanessa Hudgens, I've really never seen her in much besides High School Musical and Journey to the Center of the Earth 2.
Really? Yeah. Jesus Christ. You saw High School Musical?
Little one.
That came out before she was born.
Disney plays it all the time.
Okay, I was going to say, you watched that when that shit came out.
No.
You're like, well, I love Zac Efron's hair. Corbin Blue.
Actually, I just seen it for the first time like 3 months ago.
I've never seen it. I don't have kids.
Because they had like a marathon on and she was watching.
It looks fucking stupid, so
it's really dumb.
It's nothing that I ever want to see.
And then that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I know Danny Putty or whatever his name is. He was on Community, but never seen Community. So
he's fucking hilarious.
I really don't know anything about the cast except Alan Tudyk.
He was also in Captain America: The Winter Soldier for a hot second. He was like one of the guys working the computers.
Oh.
But Danny Putty's been in a lot of things that I just can't remember because I looked on his IMDb page and I can't really remember. For me, like the cast again, Alan Tudyk is the draw for geeks.
Yeah,
not a household name. Think about what he's. I can't say he's a household name because people don't recognize his face. Yeah. He was on Firefly. one season, right? He was in Rogue One, biggest movie of 2016, voice actor. He was in Frozen, biggest movie of 2014.
Zootopia.
I'm getting there. Voice actor. Zootopia, biggest movie of 2015. Voice actor. You know what I mean? So he is a great voice actor who has done one mainstream television show that I'm aware of with Firefly that got canceled. I like him from a geek perspective, and I think that's why the execs at NBC and DC Comics came together and said, we need somebody, like, this is going to do good for our general population because it's funny. But I want to bring in the geeks. So who do geeks like? Alan Tudyk. I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Fillion gets a cameo in this. Because those two are best friends. It seems like, I don't know, maybe they hate each other, but I think they're friends. Vanessa Hudgens, I have not seen Journey to the Center of the Earth. I have not seen High School Musical, but what I have seen her in is Sucker Punch. She played Blondie.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in
It's the only thing I've ever seen her in besides the leaked photos that hit the internet years ago.
Totally forgot she was in that.
Yeah, so those are the only things that I've really seen her in. She's not really, like, do you consider her a household name? Or big draw?
No.
This is her first television show series as a regular, you know what I mean? She was in, like, I think she was in, like, Drake and Josh for an episode. And, like, she was in One Pieces. So, again, I don't know if she's going to bring out the clientele that they're trying to get either. Danny Putty, funny guy. He's been in Community. You know, it seems like NBC trusts him, so they go back to him. I'm curious to see. He plays Teddy. He plays a funny guy named Teddy. So, of course, he's gonna do his part. And then Ron Funches. You know who Ron Funches is?
Nope.
Did you see the new trailer for it, where they made the umbrella? No. And they drop the boulders on it, and the head falls off?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ron Funches is a black guy. He was on a show called Undateable. That was on, like, TBS. And then he does a lot of shows, a lot of episodes of At Midnight with Chris Hardwick. He's funny as shit, so I'm really looking forward to
Okay,
this.
I'm looking at this picture now. I've seen
Ron Funches?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the show, but it only says on his credits he's only in it for one episode. And I hate that if he's only in it for one episode.
He's on the main poster.
I know, but like, Danny Putty says 6 episodes, Tudyk and Hudgens says 10, and then the chick that plays Crimson Fox is on 6, and then there's Ron Funches for 1. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe they're working out the contract. I'm not an entertainer, so I don't know. How many DC Comics references do you think we're going to get in the pilot?
Well, the one reference I've seen right off of the in the trailer is when she's like, "Is it a bird? Is it a plane?" And then they were like, "You don't know the difference between a bird and a plane?"
Yeah.
Like, that part was funny because Adeline's always been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell the difference between a friggin', you know...
A bird and a plane. A small, tiny little bird and an enormous plane.
Yeah. So, I always thought that was, I thought that was a good tongue-in-cheek joke. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that.
Well, you have the Bruce Wayne aspect.
Yep.
Where she's like, "Oh, did you tell Bruce Wayne about me?" And he says, "Stop using, like, my Hulu or my HBO Go login name." So, like, Bruce Wayne is in existence there. The Wayne Enterprise is in existence. Like I said, Crimson Fox is going to be that's the main hero in the world. A very obscure.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you know much about Crimson Fox?
Not much, other than it sounds like a sneaky period. That's what it sounds like, Crimson Fox.
So, Crimson Fox was a very obscure hero.
Yes.
She appeared in Justice League Europe.
Okay, great. I'm a big fan of Justice League Europe. Like what was one of the heroes? The Italian Stallion? I think he was in that. Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, she appeared in Justice League Europe number 6
Okay.
1989. And I don't know if they're going to go with this route, but they're actually identical twins.
Okay, who's the identical...
They both have powers.
Sneaky Squirrel?
They both have powers.
Black Walrus.
No, they both go by Crimson Fox.
Oh, for real?
Because they think it's one person.
Oh, okay.
So they're identical twins, Vivian and Constance Dioramus.
Okay, great. Good job.
And they both possess animal speed, agility, and hormone control.
I saw her outfit. I thought it was pretty cool.
But the only thing is, Constance has enhanced senses.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're gonna go with the twin aspect. But that's how it was in the comics. Like, there was two girls masquerading as one hero.
I would like it be like a twist where they do go with the twins, and one of them's a bad guy, and it's like Black Fox, or like Silver Banshee. No, that's already a character. Silver Wolf, something like that. I don't know. I think that this is where we're gonna get the D-list heroes. We might see Plastic Man in this show.
Armfall Off Boy.
We might see Armfall Off Boy. I could see Crypto being in this show.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel of these.
Listen, man. The first villain that they've showed in the previews was Starro. Did you see previews with that?
Nah.
You know who Starro is?
No.
It's a giant starfish. It looks like
I know the comic.
Yeah, it looks like a CGI version of Patrick Star from SpongeBob sucking on a wall, like on a building. That's the first villain in the show. You got to go back and see it. It looks great. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I am not.
I'm really curious to see what heroes they're like. I think we're going to get an abundance of DC Comics references in the very first episode, in the pilot, because NBC cancels things very quickly, and the world we live in with television cancels things very quickly. So I feel like you have to shoot your load quick for everybody to swallow it up. So you have to get out a shit ton of jokes, and they've already showed Crimson Fox, the Bruce Wayne aspect, the Joker gas, Starro, what the Superman joke. You know what I mean? They've already showed this. So I feel like they're going to go balls to the wall. This is what we got. This is what our universe is. I think it was only approved for 10 episodes. So it's a short order. This is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure they'll make a reference to Atlantis and Central City, and I'm sure it takes place in Camden. I mean Gotham. And I'm sure we're going to...
It's a bright-looking Gotham.
It is a very bright-looking... Well, we never see Gotham in the daytime. You know what I mean? The only time we ever saw Gotham in the daytime is in Dark Knight Rises.
When he was underneath the bridge.
And when Bane is doing his little his speech. So that's the only time we've seen Gotham in the daytime. And also thinking about it, Gotham is in the DC universe is set in a dark tones as far as like the movies and television. So maybe this might take place in Metropolis because it said it's a subsidy, so it might be in a whole different city. But who knows? I think they're going to go balls to the wall, throw out a shit ton of references to capture the audience. Right? That's my thought. My other thought is that I kind of think that we're going to see some cameos, or I would like to see cameos. And by cameos, I mean like Adam West or Burt Ward. You know what I mean? What do you think about that? My thoughts.
That would be awesome. Or like Linda Carter and stuff like that. That would be awesome. I could see like...
I could definitely see Linda Carter.
I could see M. West either being like a mayor or like on the board of executives for the Wayne
Enterprises.
Yeah.
Burt Ward being like a guy who runs a subway,
like a taxi driver.
Yeah, but like I think that what I really like about it, this thought, is because like I love what CW has done to pay homage to the characters that have come before them.
Oh,
you know what I mean? All except for Tom Welling for some reason. Maybe they have bigger plans. Maybe Tom Welling is going to be in this.
I doubt it.
But you figure like you have John Wesley Shipp, who was doing nothing, and the Flash takes him on. Mark Hamill, who played the Trickster, who I have some Mark Hamill facts I want to talk to you about after we're done talking about Powerless, who was playing the Trickster in the 90s in one-offs in the Flash, and now he's back, you know what I mean? And then you have Linda Carter, who is the president in Supergirl, and Dean Cain, and all these actors and actresses.
The mother, can't remember her name offhand, but the mother of Kara, her human mother, was Supergirl.
Yep. And then you had Lisa Vandervoot was in it, right? That's her name.
No,
she was another chick, the blonde. Maybe that's who we're talking about.
I think that's Supergirl.
So I would really like NBC to take a page out of the CW shows and say, you know what? It's set in a universe. Let's throw people in there. Like, let's show. I would like to see Val Kilmer in it. He's not doing anything.
No.
I mean, he's just. I mean, obviously he's got some medical things, but like it would be cool to see
Billy D.
Billy D. Chris O'Donnell. You know,
Chris O'Donnell's busy with
Alicia Silverstone. She's not busy doing anything.
no.
Bring her back. Even Anne Hathaway or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like people who have been in the universes that really like. Joseph Gordon-Levitt didn't get the fair share he could have been.
No.
Because he was being all hyped up to be Robin, and then that's like, how are you gonna? Oh, I'm about to vent, Chuck. We've gone how many minutes? We've probably gone about 19 minutes without me being frustrated. Record.
Here it comes.
Listen, I tried to turn over a new leaf in 2017 where I'm not going to get frustrated with entertainment, but I have to lash into it. So, how in the Dark Knight trilogy, at the end of the movie, knowing that you're not going to do a fourth movie, how do you reveal Robin like that? What? What's your name? Robin. That's it? That's how you leave it? Like, you have to admit that that's super flawed, right?
Yeah.
It gives people like, oh, Christian Bale's going to come, and Christopher Nolan are going to come back and do another Batman movie where John Blake saddles up as Robin. Or Nightwing. I'd probably Nightwing. He was a little too old to be putting on those panties and traipsing around the city with Batman,
and I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So.
Me too. It's kind of a cock tease for me, because like the last inklings of Robin we had were nipples. Right, I'm right. Chris O'Donnell's nipples are the last remembrance of Robin I have, besides the animated universe, and that's super shitty. But I'd really want some cameos. Do you think we're gonna get them? Realistically, do you think that we're gonna get them? Be so stupid. Like, this is why we should be writers on shows. But the problem with both of us is we don't know how to use pencils and pens, and we can't write. We can't read either. So, you know, it'd be really tough for us to be in a board meeting and they give us papers, like they give us notes and be like, "We need you to fix this," and we're like, "This is embarrassing. I can't read." Here's a question. So take yourself out of the world that we live in, right? And put yourself in a world where superheroes live in, and put yourself in the world Powerless. Do you think that would be fun?
It depends. I mean, for us it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because us it would be like, oh, let's join. Let's
Yeah.
be.
Right.
But then there's a lot of bad things that could go on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my perspective, hell yeah.
Yeah. For me, it would be. It's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, I love superheroes, so I want to see them. But if I lived in a world of superheroes and I didn't have powers, I'd probably kill myself. Because I don't want to, like, I feel like I'm a normal dude now. I feel so below normal. Like, if there were superheroes out there and, like, I can't do shit about it, like, I'm just, you know, like, the Joker's in the city and I'm just like, don't steal my watch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I would train to be a superhero. I'd be out there like a vigilante, and I'd wind up being dead. I'd get killed by it.
Be a vigilante.
I'd fall in love with Poison Ivy. That'd be my problem. Or like they come at me with like these cat suits. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to change sides. I'm
What
about
up,
to
girl?
be a bad guy.
You all ready? And you see him like,
what up, boo?
what up, girl? What's your middle name?
About to be Jim. About to be in between those names. Anyway. That didn't make any sense.
No, it did not.
I don't know where you were going. You started a conversation, and I just was going to go with it. You started a conversation and ended it. What up, girl? What's your middle name? Silence. So I didn't know where to go. We talked. You mentioned, you know, good and bad things about living in a world of superheroes. Let's talk about the pros of living in the world with superheroes. What are some of your pros?
Pros, them saving the world.
Yeah.
From terrorists, worst of the worst. You know. Pro for us, be living our dream.
Yeah.
But,
selfies with Batman. You know what I mean?
So, you know, and having, like, superhero trading cards like you would baseball trading cards.
Yeah.
But actual, like, people
Yeah, we wouldn't have to go to Comic-Con to meet actors. We'd go to Comic-Cons to meet the heroes themselves.
But like that's I mean, but mostly to save, the world.
Yeah, and for me, some pros are obviously the optimism that the world's going to be at peace.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you get to have these cool ass stories like, oh, there was aliens coming from another world, and Superman and Shazam teamed up together, and they teamed up with Thor, and they killed all the aliens. You know what I mean? For me, they're the pros, and on the other side with the cons, for me, you have one, the cleanup would be terrible. Could you imagine like being a city worker in Metropolis after Man of Steel? Oh, I'd resign. Like, I'd have to resign. Like, there's fucking buildings everywhere. There's dead people. Zod's neck's broken. He's laying in the middle of the library.
Well, ABC's supposed to do a show like that. Damage Control.
Yeah. Is that set in the Marvel universe? Or is that just set in a world with superheroes?
I think it's a Marvel universe.
Oh, my God. So, Marvel's late to the party again. Saying, oh, let's mimic what DC's doing. Insurance companies. I don't know.
But,
whatevs.
Like, my con.
Oh, I'm not done my cons.
Oh, okay.
The other cons is like the increase of violence and terror. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With superheroes, you have supervillains. Is that your con?
That's exactly, because when you have supervillains, or superheroes, you have supervillains.
Yep.
So if you have guys with all these powers doing good, you're going to have guys with all these powers doing bad.
Yeah, there's a reason why they have those powers to do good, because there's evil. And we live in a world where there is evil, but it's not magnified. You know what I mean? There's isolated evil. In a world with superheroes, the evil would be magnified 1,000%. You know what I mean? And it not even just metahuman, like Reverse Flash. You have like people like the Joker and the Riddler, like sadistic, psychologically, fucked up people that are gonna destroy the establishment. So you think about like the fact that all this stuff is going to revolve around the heroes, and how cool that would be. But then you have to remember that there are the villains in there. You know what I mean? And another con is like the fanatics. You know what I mean? There's going to be groupies for superheroes, but then there's going to be groupies with supervillains. Think about the last episode of Gotham, right? The guy from Ant-Man and the guy from The Dark Knight is now in Gotham, right?
Yeah.
And he's a fanatic of Jerome. So what's he do? He riles up all the people. Oh, Jerome's coming back. Jerome's, you have all the clown prince's flunkies. Could you imagine a world of where, we've had the cult leaders and, like, we've had their fanatics. Would you imagine a fanatic of Joker fans? Like, I wouldn't want that.
No.
I wouldn't want to, like, I feel like we would live in a world of like Death Wish, where we're walking down the street and it's like the fucking warriors coming out of the wall, and they're like, "Hey, give me all your money," and then you hear like the milk bottles clanging together, and there's a fucking Gangs of New York fight. Like, I don't want that. It'd be too fucking scary for me. I don't know. Do you think that this show, Powerless, premiering February 1st, 2017, after Superstore on NBC? That was a good read, right? Alright, cool. This episode is sponsored by NBC.
Call us.
Yeah, it's not sponsored by NBC, so stop sending the cease and desist letters. Do you think that this show is going to be successful?
No.
Really? Tell me why.
I don't know, I just don't see... Like, I get the concept, but I just don't see people...
Flock into it.
And, you know what I mean? Because the people that like Superstore and like all this, they might not like superheroes. And they might be like, oh, that's stupid. And the people that like superheroes are like...
This is corny.
This is corny. So, I mean, I don't see it. It got 10 episodes. Yeah. I don't see it get more than that. So, I mean, it got 10 episode order, but I don't know if they shot all 10 episodes.
Yeah. I'm on the fence. So I think that this could either be a niche show where it's superhero fans and that's what they watch, and that there's a lot of superhero fans and they're going to watch it and it's going to be successful, or on the other end of the spectrum that there's a lot of superhero fans but they're not going to watch it because it's a comedy. I also am on the fence because NBC does and we've made mention to it, does really great with comedies, like The Office and Parks and Rec, and shows that you really wouldn't think we're going to make it. A show that takes place in the office, not everybody works in the office, you know what I mean? Parks and Recs, not everybody works in the Parks and Recs department of the city government. And then Superstore, not everybody works in retail. So you would kind of think that they are kind of niche shows, but they're successful. They get multiple seasons. The Office is one of the the funniest shows that I've watched ever.
Well, that's also a remake.
Yeah, but that spawned off to Parks and Recs, and Parks and Recs wasn't a remake, and that was hilarious. I think that this is going to be successful because it's a comedy, and I think they're going to focus more on the comedy than they are going to focus on the comic book realm. I think it's just going to be a fantasy comedy, something that really isn't out there since that fucking show Gallivant. That's a fantasy comedy, right? That last 20 minutes?
I think like 2 seasons.
That's too many. So I think that this is going to be successful. The only reason I don't think it's going to be successful is because it's a DC property on NBC. And we all know what they do to the DC properties on NBC. Yeah. They cancel them, and then they have to make them a CW seed show, i.e. Constantine. So it makes me very frustrated. It hurts my feelings. So I'm not going to invest as much as I did with Constantine with Powerless, because I don't want to be like, oh, it's over. And I'm hoping Netflix picks it up, Hulu picks it up, CW picks it up, and CW picks it up and turns it into a cartoon. I don't want that to happen. But, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Would it break my heart if it was successful? No. Would it break my heart if it wasn't successful? No. So, it's one of those shows that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And you're like, interesting. I'm not going to run to my TV at 9 o'clock every Wednesday and watch it. If there's reruns or if I DVR it or on demand it, that's fine. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes February 1st. Or February 2nd, they'll get the live, I guess the statistics, I guess that's what they're called. The viewership. I mentioned that I wanted to talk about Mark Hamill. Okay? So, when Mark Hamill I was listening to another podcast that had Mark Hamill on it. And when Mark Hamill went to read for the Joker, right? For the animated show, they had already casted the Joker. So most of his episodes, the first 6 episodes, are redubs with him, right? He didn't want to play the Joker. Because he went going into it knowing that they weren't going to cast him because he's Luke Skywalker. And how much of a 180 is that from?
Yeah, I kind of read something like that. From
the Joker to Luke Skywalker, you're the face of the Star Wars franchise, and now you're the worst of the worst in the Batman universe. So he went in and he was like, I want to be a villain, but I don't want to be the Joker. You know who he wanted to be?
No.
Two-Face or Clayface.
Two-Face, I could see.
Yeah, he wanted somebody smaller. Somebody that nobody really knew about. But he's an uber geek. He's like a proto-geek. Where he was going to Comic-Cons before they were the Comic-Cons we go to. So, you know what I mean? He was... Yeah, and it was a very interesting episode where he said that he was cast in the Batman show, the animated series, and it wasn't for the Joker. It was for like a thug, or like it was like a 2-line read. And he went in there and he said, are you guys going to do Ra's al Ghul, or are you going to do Clayface, or are you going to do the Court of Owls, or are you going to do all these characters? And they were like, "Ooh, hold on, we got a geek here. He knows this. Maybe we should hire him." And then he read for the Joker, and the reason he got the Joker, why do you think he got the Joker? It was a laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And he went in there with like 5 or 6 different laughs. And it was that laugh that got it. So that's some Mark Hamill facts. I don't know.
That's cool.
I figured we're talking DC.
Yeah.
And we like Star Wars, and we like Mark Hamill. I'd like to have him on the podcast. You'd shit a brick if he was on the podcast. All right, let's move forward. So we talked about probably I don't know, is it the least anticipated new show coming out with Powerless, at least for me. And we're going to move towards my most anticipated television show besides what's going on Netflix. Like, I'm talking cable television shows.
Yeah.
And that's Legion. And that comes on FX on December, comes on February 8th, 2017. And it's from the writer of Fargo and Bones, Noah Hawley. And it takes place in the X-Men universe, right? So when you thought of when you heard that it was being announced and that the X-Men universe was coming to TV, what kind of shows were you expecting?
Well, I didn't really have an expectation, but I just know the X-Men universe is so advanced. So I was looking forward to seeing more mutants, more villains, because you can go so much
Oh yeah,
with the X-Men universe. So I was excited just to see new content.
I thought we were going to get kind of like an X-Men '92 show, which eventually we're getting. Fox ordered an FX series or an X-Men series, and it's going forward. I don't know if you saw that news. So there's going to be like a young X-Men series where it takes place in Charles' school.
Oh wow!
And you're getting like characters like hopefully like Kitty Pryde and Jubilee and Rogue and all these characters that really weren't focused on in the movies. But then you'll have Cyclops and Jean, I think it's going to be different casts. It's obviously not going to be Sophie Turner and Ty Sheridan and Alexandria Shipp. So I thought we were going to get familiar X-Men, the faces of X-Men. Again, the before mentioned Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, maybe Gambit. I'd like to see that's moving forward, but who the fuck knows what's going on with that Channing Tatum mess. So
they just announced that it's still
that's what I said. It's moving forward
with him still attached.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see that being canceled. I was expecting like I said, a familiar X-Men universe, something that we knew, or the New Mutants. You know what I mean? But that's going to be a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm really pumped for New Mutants. I love them. We'll do an episode on that too. So when it was revealed that the first property was going to be Legion, me personally, I was super excited because I was very familiar with Legion. I actually read Legion comics in college. What did you think about it being announced that it was going to be Legion?
I was pretty pumped because it's a New Mutant.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, he's a very complex character.
Yeah, he came out in '85. That was before I was born.
Yeah.
So that was the pinnacle of X-Men writing.
And he's a complex character, and it's very dark nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a perfect fit for FX.
Oh, yeah. And it's perfect for the guy who's writing it. Fargo's a dark show.
Yeah, I've seen Fargo season 1, and it was good.
And Bones is kind of like a dark it's a comedy, but they have dark. It deals with death. So,
I was pumped. And then after seeing stuff, I was like, all right, I can get into this. It looks fucking weird as shit.
Yeah, it's going to be weird as shit. Like I said, when I was in college, my whole major is psycho. That's my whole major. My whole major was dealing with social work and people with disabilities and mental illness and stuff like that. So when I found out, one, that's why I gravitated towards X-Men comics. But when I wasn't studying or doing something stupid in college, I was reading Legion comics that included Legion, because you don't ever have. The X-Men have abilities, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know an X-Men that has autism and DID, dissociative identity disorder, or multiple personality disorder. You don't see that in your comic books. So I was super pumped for that. Because that's, one, I'm a geek, and two, I like the world of mental health.
That's totally up your alley.
That this is the ideal show for me. So I was very excited of Legion. A lot of people think that the show's called Legion, but David Haller is Legion. That's why he's called Legion, because he's got a legion of personalities that fight for control of his abilities. And we've never seen that in the X-Men world. We've never seen that in the comic book universe. So having someone like Legion coming to TV and to take place in a psychiatric hospital, I'm really hoping we see those multiple personalities that are fighting over all of his superpowers. Because think about it, who's he a son of?
Charles Xavier.
One of the strongest mutants ever, right? So if you have the son of one of the strongest mutants ever, and he's got a legion of identities, kind of like Split. It's weird how that goes full circle.
Yeah.
James McAvoy plays Charles Xavier. He's in Split now. His comic book son is in a multiple personality television show. It's pretty cool. I'm very, very excited. I don't think I can cap my excitement for this show. You've seen the promos. You know what I mean? They put out the character posters. They put out the trailer, 2 or 3 trailers. There's 5 or 6 TV spots. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Same as I said before. I'm looking forward to it. It looks weird and dark, and I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, especially for the type of character it is, the channel that it's on. I think I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think with this show, a lot of fans were like, "Oh, another Marvel show." You know what I mean? Another superhero show. And when we would show, like, I do, you know, I have people over for Walking Dead night, and when I would talk about Legion, they're like, "Oh," my friends are like, "What is Legion?" And I'm like, you know, it's about, you know, a superhero. It's about an X-Men with multiple personality, and I did the whole description of it. And I said, it's coming on FX. And they're like, oh, I've seen the previews for that. I just figured it was another superhero show. And the girls at work that watch American Horror Story, they saw the previews on FX, and they're like, Jim, what's this about? I told them about it. It doesn't really affect me. And these are people I work with, like, that are in the mental health field. They're like, I don't really care about that. So they just think it's a superhero show. So my thoughts never changed on it, because I knew what it was, and I knew what it's going to be. I knew it's going to be a trippy, dark, you know, kind of like weird, uncomfortable universe that no one's really ready to step into. I was really hoping that after, you know, the explanation of it not being just a superhero show, because that's not what it is. It's a comic book show, but based in a whole different world. I was hoping that people's ideas would change, and I was hoping that this was going to be a very successful show. And we'll talk about our thoughts on it being successful, but my thoughts stayed the same on Legion, because, you know, the promo, first of all, the promo art was amazing. I have on the background of my phone that kind of, with his head kind of exploding and all the thoughts coming out, and it's like, it's really like purple and pink and green, it's really neon. It's very New Mutant, if you will. So I'm really, again, looking forward to this. What are your thoughts on the cast?
Well,
there's two names that you can recognize, right?
Dan Stevens.
Yep.
And the only really thing I've seen him in is Night of the Museum 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a role in A Walk Among the Tombstones.
Yeah, and both that's the same thing with me. Both of the movies, you really don't watch those movies for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't the draw of it.
Well, he's got a movie coming out, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, like I didn't know.
So he's playing the Beast.
Yep, I know who he is.
And so that's going to be huge. But, like, he played Lancelot the villain in Night of the Museum. And then he played a minor role.
Very minor role.
In Walking... And I didn't even realize it was him. Like, when this show came out, and I was like, oh, it's the guy from Night of the Museum. And then doing some research, I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was in A Walk Among the Tombstones.
It's kind of like Michael Fassbender being in Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're a blip on the radar.
So, you know...
He's really taken off.
Yeah.
This year is going to be his year. This is Dan Stevens' year.
And then I know he was in, like, Downtown Abbey, but I've never seen it.
And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing I wanted to talk about. That's got a huge following. It's extremely popular. And he wasn't on it for, like, 2 episodes. He was on it for 25 episodes. And that means that he does, like... He's got a fan base. You know what I mean? For me, I thought he was just a nobody. And then I saw he was Downton Abbey.
He's British, right?
Yeah. He was born in, like, Suffolk, I think, or something like that. Just knowing that he was in that, I was like, okay, they really went with a name, number one, to the Brits. But they went with somebody who does have the acting prowess. You can't be a shit actor and be on Downton Abbey. You know what I mean? There's Judi Dench is on, right? Isn't she on Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
And Maggie Smith, they're like big British actors come from Downton Abbey. So I feel like Dan Stevens is a much better actor than a lot of people are thinking. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, you know, he's the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, but he has so many movies coming out this year. I think he has another movie called can't remember what it's called. It's a one-word movie, like a Nicolas Cage movie that he's in, where it's like very. It's getting a lot of critical acclaim. And
then Aubrey Plaza plays Lenny Busker.
Yeah.
She looks very dirty and very wacko.
Yeah, well, she looks like a psychiatric hospital patient.
And it doesn't seem that she have any powers or anything like that.
No, I think she's just a
mental patient.
A mental patient. I love Aubrey Plaza.
I know you do.
Oh my god, I don't care what she looks like in this. I love Aubrey Plaza. I love her so much.
But she don't look like.
I don't care what she looks like. I know that under that makeup and under that weird ass haircut, that she's a fox. She is. Aubrey Plaza is sexy.
And then the only other one I recognized was Jean Smart.
Yeah.
And Jean Smart, back in the 80s, was in Designing Women. And that's
the only time that Designing women are going to be on this episode.
And then I watched 24.
Yeah.
And she was in a couple seasons of 24. So, she's not a big name, but that's the only 3 names that I recognize.
Yeah, I feel like, this is another short order right now. It's only confirmed for 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So they're gonna test the water with it. Lately, FX has not failed. Their shows have been amazing. From Sons of Anarchy, Always Sunny, American Horror Story, Fargo, Baskets.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think Baskets was gonna go anywhere because it's Zach Galifianakis and Louis Anderson in drag. And that's amazing.
And Louis Anderson's won awards and shit for.
And look, Atlanta, everything that they touch is good. And I haven't even touched on Taboo.
Archer.
Yeah, Archer, which is ending.
But it's been
it's been great. But Taboo is a new show, and that's been acclaimed very well, reviewed very well. People are really enjoying Taboo after 2 episodes. So. Depending, it comes on the 8th, so, what's that, a Wednesday? It's a Wednesday, yeah. So, it comes on, Wednesday night's kind of shaping up to be a good night now. So, we'll have Arrow, Powerless, and now Legion, all Wednesday nights. And this is going to go out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, it comes out all full circle. So, having, I just think it's going to do well on FX. But Dan Stevens, who, if you didn't know him from Downton Abbey and that minor role he played in Walking Amongst the Tombstones, you know him from the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you probably don't even know him from Beauty and the Beast. But I feel like this is good for him now that he's in Disney canon and he's in the Marvel canon.
Yeah.
Because he's going to become more of a familiar name. And then my girl, Aubrey. Oh,
Aubs.
I love her. There's not much more I can say about her. I think that this is. If there were going to be a comic book movie for her, it's this show. Because, you don't watch comedies. So, on Parks and Recs, she is, a driving force in that show. She was a heartless woman who was just blunt. She had no emotion and was just very blunt. She'd walk in if you say anything, I'm just going to murder you in your sleep. She's kind of how I am sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, and, her Twitter handle was, Sea Hag. So, she's a great woman. I love her. Man, don't tell Chelsea. Are you looking forward to seeing the series?
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt. It's just because I really want to see how they use his personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And then, that's the thing, he's an anti-hero with a severe mental disorder.
Yeah, do you think that he's only an anti-hero because of the multiple personalities in his head? It's stuck. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends how they use those multiple personalities.
Did you obviously read about the multiple personalities?
Oh, yeah.
There are some fucked up ones in there.
Well,
There's a terrorist in his head.
Well, some of the most notable ones, and they call it personality number 2.
Yeah.
And they give them names.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Jamal Kamari.
Yep, the terrorist, right?
Yeah, the terrorist, and he manifests telepathy.
Yeah.
And then, some other notable ones, Adventurer Jack Wayne.
I love it. Bruce Wayne's long-lost cousin.
And
Van Wayne's brother.
Telekinesis.
Yep.
And then there's a rebellious girl, Cindy.
Yeah.
Where, pyrokinesis. And...
He's so many mutants in one.
Oh.
He's the mental mystique.
Powerful as shit. And then some of them, I was reading up on Wikipedia about not all of them, but the majority, and some of them are fucking whacked out.
Yeah, it's out there.
And then, one of his main ones calls himself the Legion.
Yeah.
And he warps time and reality.
Mm-hmm.
What the...
It's crazy, and that's the one I think that they've been showcasing.
Yeah.
Where, everything's going fast, and he's just like he's not moving, and then like things are exploding and stuff like that. I think that's the Legion personality that we're seeing.
And did you know there was one personality number 69?
Oh, that's a sexual one, right? It's gotta be.
It was a beast woman named Sally.
Who all she wants to do is 69 people.
She possesses Hulk strength.
Jesus. Oh
and then
God.
my favorite, this is dark as shit, number 666, calls himself Styx. And
Now, is it STYX?
yes.
Yes, like the band.
And he has the ability to sing like the band.
Yes.
He has the ability to use the touch of death and absorb the spirit's victims. After absorbing the spirit, he continued to control the victim's bodies.
I remember that from the story arcs.
That is fucking phenomenal.
He's going to be great.
And I hope they use, obviously, I mean, there was like hundreds of fucking personalities yet. But obviously they can't use all of them. But like, I hope we just don't see 2 or 3.
I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to see multiples. Like, not just like a couple of them. I think we're going to see a lot of them. And I think that's what, like, maybe even, I don't know, maybe even each episode is a different personality.
That'd be cool.
Manifesting. So, I don't know. This is one of the dark horses in the comic book realm.
All right.
You don't know if it's going to be good. You don't know if it's going to be great. If it were to be on any channel for it to be successful, it's FX.
Because they can go a little further.
They can almost go up to Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, and HBO. They can't show boobies and they can't say fuck on TV, but when they do the on demand, they can.
When they say shit.
Yeah. Well, you can say shit on everything but I think 3, 6, and 10 now.
Yeah, true.
You can say dick on CW. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. But FX is a dark channel in general, and it's more of an adult cable channel.
Yeah.
Not adult where like there's gangbangs and shit like that, but like adult in the sense of adults watch it. Not a lot of kids are watching FX.
No.
So I've said it from the jump that this is my most anticipated television show besides the Defenders and that universe. So I'm very excited for that. What intrigues you? Like, is it the multiple personalities that intrigues you the most about the show, or is it the unknown factor?
Well, a little bit of both, because it intrigues me because it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no other Marvel show is that dark. I mean, like, the Netflix show, it is, but like I said, we're talking about mental disorders and just, it's... The whole concept intrigues me.
Yeah.
So, I'm really looking forward to how they're going to do all that.
Yeah, where they can go, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a show that really doesn't have a ceiling.
No.
You know what I mean? And if it does have a ceiling, it's glass and they can shatter it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can go very deep and they can go very dark into this show. That's what intrigues me is their ceiling as well. And, I think that this is going to... It's not just a property that was picked because it's an unknown property. I think there is a bigger message to this. I think that this is maybe the mental health counselor in me talking, but I think this might bring some more light to the world of mental illnesses and mental health and how there are people that are suffering with illnesses not as severe as, as Legion, you know what I mean? Not as severe as having telekinesis and pyrokinesis and you can warp time and stuff like that, but I work with people that have dissociative identity disorder. And it's not glamorous, you know what I mean? It's not something that, at times maybe the different personalities are funny, but you can see that the personalities are really fucking with the people in their head.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
It's exactly what it is. It's a struggle. And I'm hoping that this is going to do the mental health community justice. And I think that it does have a bigger message. What do you think? Do you think that this is just an unknown property that nobody knows about, and they want to bring light to it because the strike while the fire's hot, or do you think that this could be have a message to it?
I think it has. I mean, I'm not in the same field you are,
Yeah.
so I don't see it every day, and I don't know. But I like everything that you just said. You know what I mean? I like that.
Thank you.
I hope it does broaden people's horizons and open her eyes to see, that mental disorders are a huge disease.
Yeah, it's the silent killer, my friend. It's the ones that, people from the outside really just say buck up and be a trooper. You'll get through this. And it's people dealing with it on the inside, they're really not understood. So that I think it's going to have a bigger message. That's probably the least comedic thing I've ever said on an episode. But I feel
it got real.
But I feel like that that needs to be made a point.
No, definitely.
Now that it's set in the X-Men universe, right? Do you think we get references to characters and appearances from familiar faces? I'm not talking like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine or Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde, but do you think that we get references to familiar X-Men?
Well, per IMDb, and instead of just be a rumor, they said Charles Xavier will appear in some form.
Yeah.
Whether it be the
McAvoy.
two that we know or a different actor. But it also came out that Laurel Schuler Donner, who is the producer of this, has stated that they're going to be Sentinels.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Version of Sentinels. So she said it's not really connected to the X-Men universe. So we're going to see familiar, even though it's not a character per se, but that's a huge canon in the X-Men universe as Sentinels.
Now, is this a Fox property? Like, I'm confused about this. Is it a Fox property or is it a Marvel Studios property? Because from what I've heard, it's a Marvel Studios property, and that's why it's not connected to the X-Men universe.
They're probably working together.
Yeah, because the only thing that bothers me about it being a Marvel Studios property is it's on FX, and FX is a Fox channel. You know what I mean? So I was worried. Like I didn't know what we were getting out of it. If Charles is in it, it would have to be Patty Stew. If you're going to take one from the movies, because James McAvoy's not old enough to be his father.
Or I think they introduced Ricky.
Yeah, it would have to be a different. Like it would have to be like a 55-year-old Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Like, hey son. Or it could just be flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see McAvoy or Stewart making a cameo. I would like to see different references, though. Maybe we get a reference from Blob or Juggernaut.
I think we definitely will
Multiple
see
Man.
other mutants and stuff like that.
Do you think we're going to see familiar ones or obscure ones?
I think we're going to see some obscure ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because Legion's pretty obscure. And, I don't know.
The only familiar one I could see being in there is Rogue. Because I feel like Rogue obviously has some self-esteem issues, being that nobody can touch her, and, it could spiral into depression. So I could see a Rogue maybe being in it. And I don't think there's any... There was a rumor that, Anna Paquin might show up in Logan.
Yeah.
Because of their ties, but I don't think there's any future in Anna Paquin's Rogue. I don't think she's in the pipeline. They completely wrote her out of Days of Future Past. You know what I mean? They had to make a Rogue cut because there was so much more Rogue in it. You know what I mean? So I think that there's really no future for her. I'd like to see Rogue or like a Jubilee, like a young kid that's struggling with their mutant abilities, taking place, like coming into the hospital. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I like Jubilee. I really want some more jubilation. Do you think it's going to be a successful series? We talked about Powerless, how we don't think it's going to be successful. What about Legion?
See, I want it to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it really depends how people take to the dark and different nature of the X-Men universe. Because it's not like anything we have ever seen. Because of the
subject matter?
The subject matter. Because it is, yes, it's a comic book series, but it has a totally different concept and tone to it, to where I think it's going to be a hit or a miss.
Yeah,
like I don't think it's going to be in between. I think it's people are going to latch onto it and say, "Wow, this is provocative. This is different. I love the content. This is great."
Mm.
Or people are going to go, "It's too weird. It's too serious. It's not the X-Men and superhero world that I'm used to, I
Yeah.
don't like it.
And you touched on it, and it's not the X-Men. And that's the big thing. A lot of people, it's the X-Men universe, yes. There will be X-Men references, yes. However, when people think X-Men, they think Cyclops, they think Storm, Wolverine, Charles, Eric. They think all these...
This is not it.
Yeah, exactly. This is a one-off, not a one-off, but this is a different storyline for the X-Men, where it was the New Mutants. This is where he debuted. And not many people know about the New Mutants. And the thing that I'm looking forward to about this, and the thing that I think that it's going to be successful, how it's going to be successful, is, one, we talked about it. It's on FX. It's found its home, for sure. If this was on Fox or ABC or NBC, it would have been canceled. Even on Fox, I think it would have been canceled. It's on FX. It's on the right channel. My thought is that people are going to watch this and not even know they're watching a comic book show.
Yeah.
They're going to think it's a psychological thriller. And I think that they really have kind of, I mean, they've kind of advertised it that it's not a comic book show. All you see is the Marvel banner go in the front. Mm. And I think that that's what's going to drag people in, and they're going to be like, it's one of those things that has been advertised as, you're not going to know what this is until you watch it. We're going to show you bits and pieces. We're going to show you some sexy parts, and some of the stuff that we've done with the effects. But you're not going to know what you're watching until it's over. And I think that that's what intrigues me the most, and that's why I think it's going to be successful, because of that unknown factor. I think this is going to be a hit, and I think that I just think it's going to be a hit. I think that this is going to make it. Maybe 3 seasons tops, but I think it's going to make it. It's not going to be a Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, I definitely hope it does.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Okay. There's so many different rumors about the X-Men universe that it's in disarray. Either they're going to do the movies, or they're not going to do the movies. They're going to recast Wolverine. They're going to move with X-23. They're not going to go with the young characters we saw in Apocalypse. The only thing that's certain is New Mutants and Deadpool, right? There's no future for X-Men movies in the pipeline right now. There's untitled Fox superhero movies. Who the fuck knows what that is? We really don't know if Gambit's going to take place, even though they keep saying it. We've seen no other castings. You know what I mean? This movie was supposed to come out in December. We have no casting. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not... Yeah, he'd still be attached to it. The Rock's still attached to Shazam, but he's not even going to be in that movie. You know what I mean? So I don't think that... Now that it's kind of in disarray, right? And Fox is going to get a show. FX has a show now. Do you think that they should focus on expanding their TV franchises? Like the X-Men franchises?
See, I still want them to expand the movie universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should strengthen that because there's so much you can do. You know what I mean? New Mutants, Deadpool.
But these are things that are already being expanded on.
But, like, they can go even further.
Yeah, but they are. The New Mutants is coming out. Deadpool's getting a sequel. And after Deadpool's sequel, they're going into X-Force. So they've expanded on that. I'm talking, like, the X-Men universe aside from the stuff that's confirmed.
Oh, no, they definitely, like, I want to see a Dark Phoenix movie.
Okay.
Because they hinted to it. And
they also hinted to Robin being in Batman. See where that left.
But
I blame Rotten Tomatoes.
I really think that they can... There's so much they can go with that they should expand. And they should... You know what I mean? There's endless amount of content that they could use. And I think they should also use TV to strengthen that content.
Yeah, Marvel needs to expand in TV in general. They have, one show out? On cable.
Marvel?
Yeah. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The other one got canceled. So, I feel, with the stuff that they have, the darker stuff, with X-Force, and, I'm sure New Mutants is going to be rated R, and, that's what they're going for. They're going towards the adult comic book movies. The problem is, they're neglecting their core members. Again, we talked about X-Men. When you think of X-Men, you think about Wolverine, you think about Cyclops and Storm and Jean Grey and those characters, right? They established that they had a good young cast. Apocalypse got destroyed critically. I get it. It was a good movie, but with a bad direction.
Yeah.
but you have a good foundation. Why stop with, Game of Thrones is going to be over soon, so Sophie Turner is still going to be a hot name.
That's what I said, Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, and they, again, like you said, they alluded to it, but they still don't know if that's what it's going to go towards. You know what I mean? You can't really go Phoenix, like the first showing of the Phoenix in Apocalypse straight to a Dark Phoenix movie. There has to be something in between. I think that they should expand their TV universes. I don't want to see a Gambit movie.
No.
Not with Channing Tatum. I think a Gambit TV show would have been really cool. I think maybe an X Factor TV show would be good. Not with Simon Cowell and Sporty Spice. But I think you really need to expand. And I'm glad Fox is starting to expand. They're starting to they're starting to hear us, Chuck. My letters are working. They're doing an X-Men pilot show on Fox. And FX has Legion. I think there needs to be more. I don't want to wait till 2020 to see New Mutants or 2019. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait till 2020 to see X-Force. You know what I mean? If Pierce Brosnan is playing Cable, right? That's the big rumor, right? If he's playing Cable, he might be dead by 2020. You know what I mean? Or Ryan Reynolds might be unhappy with Deadpool, and that might not happen. You know what I mean? All this shit is starting to come so late. And it bothers me because I want to see it now. You know what I mean? Just put fucking 50 movies out a year. Stop putting out Saw Legacy and Amityville Begins or whatever the fuck these movies are coming out. Expand on what you have and perfect it. If you're not going to expand on it, give it back to Marvel. Let Marvel expand on it. You know what I mean? They've done 3 Wolverine movies. All 3 of them haven't been great movies. Box blockbusters. You know what I mean? It's always like, when you think Wolverine, you think his movies would be Avenger status.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Wolverine, I didn't really like.
See, I liked it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't Wolverine Origins.
No.
But, like, there's so many other storylines you could have gone with Wolverine. You know what I mean? And in Logan, people are like, what the fuck is this? Because they don't know about Old Man Logan's storyline.
It looks fucking weird.
It does look weird.
And the Old Man's Logan storyline is weird.
And, oh my god. And they still can't make it as weird as they want.
Because they don't have the rights
to. They have
to
no rights to Hulk and Spider-Woman and Red Skull. Well, Red Skull's Captain America in Old Man Logan.
Too, isn't it?
No, that's, it might be. I don't know. There's a storyline where Red Skull's the president, but he becomes Gold Skull. And he looks like a rapper. It was so dumb, dude. So dumb. But, like, there's inbred Hulks in Old Man Logan. There's, like...
Old Man Hawkeye.
Yeah, there's so many things that you can do, but you can't.
Isn't there a fucking dinosaur?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It's a crazy world. I like what I'm excited for Logan, but it's not going to be a blockbuster.
No, especially the new trailer.
Yeah.
That just came out the other day.
Yeah.
That looked fucking amazing.
Oh, my God. But it's not going to be a blockbuster, and that's a shame. And it's Hugh Jackman's last movie. Until he cameos in X-Force.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing I want to talk about is if you were to get some shows, you don't have to tell me what shows you want to see, or unless you have something. But what channels would you like to see them on?
If FX does well, I'd like to see more stuff on FX.
Okay. Because
you can go further, and you can be a little darker, grittier,
like a Gambit show on FX.
Yeah.
Or Netflix. Now, Netflix isn't a channel, but I don't want it on Sci-Fi.
No. And I don't think they would ever go. I mean, DC is with Kryptonite, but that's a whole different story.
Well, Krypton, that show's going to be terrible.
Kryptonite, yeah.
It's going to be Kryptonite. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be awful.
But, like, I mean, Fox is hit or miss.
Yeah.
So...
Lately, it's been hit. Lately, it's been... What's the last show they canceled? I can't remember. Yeah. It's hard to think, right? And they're doing 24 Legacy, they're doing X-Files, their Prison Break's coming back, they're doing all these like reboots or like sequels, I guess. It would Fox would be a good idea, but I feel like if they put an X-Men show on Fox, they're going to cancel Gotham. Yeah. Or they'll cancel Lucifer. That's a DC comic too.
No, I like FX.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed many of their shows.
What about FXX?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right? So I don't even think I have that channel.
I have it, and that's where Always Sunny is now.
I don't even think FXX knows that Always Sunny is still new, like has new seasons. Oh my god, I saw an episode for Always Sunny where you know how I like UFC, right? Where Mac and Charlie are selling muscle milk, like protein milk, and the UFC fighters are using it as a weight cutter because they drink it and it just makes them have like violent diarrhea. And like Cowboy Cerrone's in it, and he's like shitting on the toilet, and he's like, "Oh, this is so terrible, but it's so great. You guys need a Nobel Prize." And like, they're just all you hear is like just violent wet farts.
That's horrible.
I agree with you though. FX and possibly Fox. If they move from cable, I want X-Men on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a Nightcrawler series would be kind of cool. Maybe a Magneto and his rogues would be kind of cool. Like I don't know, when Magneto or dude like the House of M, that as a series with Bishop in it.
Oh.
Fucking sign me up. Sign me up. He'd start with the Jerry curl, and then he'd go into the baldy. That's my thought. All right, so you made a mention. Well, we don't need to open the Geek Gallery, but let's talk about the Logan trailer. We're going to the trailer park today.
Yeah. We have two.
Tell me about the Logan trailer.
All right. The Logan trailer.
You don't have to describe it, but just tell me what you think.
I thought it was awesome. Way more footage of X-23.
Oh my gosh, she looks so badass.
I have no idea who this little girl is. She looks fucking amazing.
I think this is her first role. Like I saw that she was on Instagram. She has no post, but it says this page is monitored by the actor's name. I can't remember. I think it's like Daphne or something, and her parents. You know what I mean? So I think that this, when the blades start coming out of her knuckles, and she cuts that dude's neck, and you see Logan go, holy fuck. You're like, this is going to be good. Even just, like, her abilities, like, it's just, I can't wait for Logan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What caught you the most surprised? Like, what surprised you most about the trailer?
Her.
Yeah. It wasn't Patrick Stewart saying fuck?
Yeah.
I'm fucking 90. That's funny.
I really love the comic book reference.
Mm-hmm.
When he had the old school 90s comic books and he goes,
half of this didn't happen.
Yeah. And it was cool. And I think Sauron was on the fucking cover.
No.
The pterodactyl.
It looked like Think Tank Boom.
I think it was Sauron.
It was a newly made comic. They couldn't use the Marvel comics because of Marvel Studios. So they had to make their own comics, and they brought in the original X-Men writer.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Quesada, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, and he did that comic. So it was a brand new comic cover. Also, like, you got the Wolverine suit in the comics. I would love to see a flashback with him in the suit. Now that it's very fourth wall, or not fourth wall. Like they broke the barrier to know that the X-Men are celebrities, like that they existed and that they wore suits. And Wolverine finally wore a suit. So I was very excited for the trailer.
I mean, they hinted in the deleted scene in the Wolverine.
Yeah.
With the yellow and brown suit.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, they've been hinting at that since X-Men 1 when they're like, I'm not wearing a suit.
Yeah.
So it would be a great way to kind of finish off that franchise. The next trailer is Power Ranger trailer that came out. You see a closer look at the Velveeta monster, Goldar, a better look at the putties, a better look at Zordon, and the first look at Alpha. What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome. It's exactly what I expected, dark. And we got to see more. I'm glad Jordan wasn't in a tube.
Yeah.
And it was kind of more of a 3D...
It was Gideon from The Flash.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
It reminds me of one of those toys that you see at, like, Walmart, where it would be the pins and you stick your hand in it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what it kind of reminded me of.
I used to always put my face on it. And I made my own Zordons. Shit hurt. Put it on backwards.
And then, with the whole, and like Alpha 5, and his design is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But,
it's very spacey. He looks like an octopus with a fucking saucer on his head.
Yeah, and it's, Bill Hader.
Yeah, I like Bill Hader.
And, I thought it was cool. We got to see more of the suits. We see more of the Zords.
Yeah, we finally saw the Megazord.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
And then
when he's fighting Goldar.
The putties actually look, from the the toys that kind of were leaked looked really stupid.
Yeah, they look generic as shit.
Yeah, but these looked more like rock monsters almost.
Yeah.
It looked really cool.
Now, do you think that they were all putties, or do you think that they're different monsters?
I don't know.
I'm curious to see, because, like, the thing about Power Rangers is they have, like, an ultimate, like, monster universe. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We saw more Rita.
More Rita, and then Goldar. And you were worried...
Still not a fan of it.
No.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
He's all broken apart, and there's gold dripping from him. He's Velveeta Monster. This movie is sponsored by Velveeta.
It looks better than the toy that was leaked.
Yeah, you're right, because the toy had no fucking, like, description to it. It was just like a toy dipped in.
And the Goldar in the shows were amazing. It was kind of like the Sphinx kind of Egyptian.
When you think of Goldar, you think he's not much bigger than Rita. You know what I mean? This thing is enormous. He's bigger than buildings.
And then they were like, "That's a whole lot of gold."
Yeah, that's a whole Or what about when the Zach he's like, "I'm black."
Yeah.
It's like, "You ain't black."
Yes, I am.
Billy's like, "You ain't black." I thought that was great.
Yeah, and what's different is that they actually have powers.
Yeah.
Like in the show, they were just like ninjas.
Yeah.
But now they're like jumping and have super strength, and
it's very Chronicle-esque.
It is.
Like, the trailers look very Chronicle-like.
It is.
But I'm looking forward to Power Rangers,
Yeah.
and we have an episode coming up about the Power Rangers, which I'm very excited about. The two great trailers came out pretty much on the same day.
No, yeah, because I remember I woke up and I got text messages. Did you see these trailers? And
Yeah.
I was like, no, yeah, hold on. And then like I had to whip out my iPad and watch them.
Yeah, man. We're still waiting on the Justice League trailer. We were supposed to get that in 2016. Yeah. Zack Snyder promised it around Christmas.
He sits on the throne of lies.
The DC sits on the throne of lies. He's just like Santa and Elf. Sits on... that was a good reference. I pulled that from me. It's very... I don't know. We hear that Wonder Woman's a mess.
Yeah. Which
is breaking my heart. I don't know, man. I'll save it for the next episode. Then we'll talk about it now. How about Black Adam might make his first appearance in the Aquaman movie?
That's weird.
You don't ever see... you don't really see them fight against each other.
No. And
I can see where they're going with it, though. Black Adam's dynasty needs resources from Atlantis. And that's how it goes.
It's just a pool to get The Rock in the universe for people to watch it.
And so they don't lose him.
Yeah.
Because if, Shazam's 2019, I don't know if he's going to hold off for another 2 years. You know what I mean? I was worried, and he's getting his own franchise. Not even just a movie, he's getting a franchise. So we'll see, how much Black Adam we're going to get. That's what DC's doing right, honestly, is doing villain movies. Suicide Squad, Gotham City Sirens, Deadshot's getting a movie, although I'm not a big fan of Will Smith as Deadshot, and then Black Adam movies. You don't see a Red Skull or an Ultron movie, you just see them getting killed off. I don't know. Chuck, I gotta plug us. We are on Twitter, ActiveGeek_. We are on Facebook, Active Geek. We're on SoundCloud, the Active Geek Podcast, Spreaker, Geek Culture Cast Network, iTunes, Active Geek Podcast, and the Geek Culture Cast Network. And we're on Instagram, The Active Geek. So that's our upcoming television show episode. I really think that everyone should go watch Legion. Get around to watching Powerless. I don't know. Try and watch it live if you can. And just keep watching TV.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a geek. See ya.